case in Goodyear, Arizona, between the fall of 2017 and the spring of 2018. At the time of the case, Brittany would be 27 years old. Alright, so let's get started with some information on Brittany. She was born in 1991, and she was raised in Arizona. She attended college at Arizona State University, where she earned her degree in teaching, and she was an excellent student and maintained a 4.0 GPA. She met the love of her life prior to college, though. She was only 16 when she met him. They met on a job interview. They were both interviewing at the same location. I do not know what the job was, unfortunately, but at the interview, they spotted each other from across the room. Their eyes locked, and there was an instant connection. Luckily for them, or unluckily, depending on how you look at it, they both got the job, and they got to talking. Turned out that they would be going to the same high school, and they began a relationship and were said to be inseparable from that point on. So the boy's name was Daniel Zamora, and he proposed to her years later during skydiving. Very creative and romantic. And they married in 2015. Now in 2016, Brittany began working at an elementary school. She was doing a wonderful job there. She was even given the title of Teacher of the Year. That's how great of a job she was doing. The children loved her, the other teachers loved her, and she got to be pretty close with the assistant principal there, Mr. Dickey. Now, Mr. Dickey got a job the next year in 2017 at a different school in the area called Las Brisas Academy. And he reached out to her and he said, "Hey, we have an open position here in 6th grade. You would be great for the position." And I believe he, recommended her. So she moved over there and started working as a 6th grade teacher. And all was going well. She was leading her best life. She had a great job that she enjoyed. She had a loving husband, and just things seemed perfect from the outside. So one day in the fall of 2017, she told her class, "Hey guys, tomorrow I'm not going to be in school." Who knows why? But she wasn't going to be there, and she had set up a chat room, an online chat room called Classcraft. we don't know. We're never going to find out anything about that. But anyway, he writes to her and he says, "Hi, Mrs. Zamora." I'm pretty simple, nothing major. And after that, their texting continues, very innocently into the following day. And after a while, their chat became a bit more flirtatious, and they had moved it off of the classroom chat and onto their own private texting or Snapchats or Instagram DMs or, any number of places they were sharing texts. Now, according to him, quote, "I don't remember how it got really intense, but we would flirt and she would be like, 'OMG, I love you,' and I would tell her I loved her too, and then she would talk about how she wanted to do stuff with me and I'd tell her that I wanted to do that too." So he also talked to officials about, this is later, later on down, but he would explain their first kiss. It was parent-teacher conference day, and when no one was in the classroom, it was just him and her, for whatever reason. He went to say goodbye to her, and she grabbed him by the shirt and kissed him, and he kissed her back. So that was the start of their physical relationship. And other things were going on after that point, like while the other kids were watching a video, they would be in the back of the room, touching each other. Now remember, he's 13, she's 27, he's a child, she's an adult, he is her student, and she is the teacher, okay? We're not gonna forget that, no way. Anyway, so they're in the back of the room touching each other while kids are watching videos. Okay. And not only that, sometimes when the kids were sitting at their desk working, he would come up to her desk, he would walk behind her desk, she would open her drawer like she was getting something for him, and she would be touching him. It's pretty sick, right? Very sick. Now, to make matters even worse, she was sending him, or I don't even know if this is worse or equal or what, but she was sending him nude photos, and he was sending them back of himself as well. Okay? Some of the photos were of her in lingerie as well. Now, the thing is, they weren't hiding it very well, okay? And the other kids were getting suspicious. They were noticing that the relationship between the two seemed a bit, inappropriate. They didn't see anything specific, they didn't notice the touching, but they knew something was wrong, and the boy was getting a lot of special attention, favoritism, and they were getting really fed up. So I think about 3 kids wrote letters to the principal telling him the way they felt. Basically telling him that this boy was getting special attention, favoritism, and that people were talking about them having an affair. Now, these letters kind of said, well, I don't know if they're having an affair. I don't really think they're having an affair, but people are saying that they are, and, that kind of thing. So the principal read the letters, he went to the classroom, and he had a little talk with everybody. And he said, listen, I want to commend those of you who came to me with your letters. Thank you very So that is what she did. She showed up, she parked the car outside, and the boy snuck out, went to her car, and they had oral sex. And the next day, she returned again when the grandparents were not home. She went into the house and they had actual sex. Now, in March, there was a school talent show. And one day at school, the boy and his friend were with her in the classroom alone. And the teacher and the boy, they started kissing right in front of the friend. Now, the friend had been let in on everything. The boy had told his friend, even though he wasn't supposed to. So anyway, they just started kissing right in front of him, and Brittany asked the boy if he would stand lookout while they had sex in the classroom. And he did it, but he felt really, really uncomfortable about it. And here is what he said. They, quote, "They were just doing it. It was very uncomfortable." And then the next day, which I believe was the day of the actual talent show, while everyone, it was evening, I guess, while everyone was watching the talent show, the three were alone again in the classroom, and she asked him to do the lookout thing again. And he refused. He was not doing it again. I guess he knew it was very wrong, and it was just not comfortable at all for him. He wasn't doing it. So he left, but they went ahead and did what they planned on doing anyway, right there in the classroom during the talent show. Now this friend, the one I'm talking about, the one who was being a lookout, I don't know what she had in mind for him for the future, but he said that one day she asked him if he was circumcised. Now that's a weird thing to ask a kid in your class, but we're talking about her, so he said he doesn't know what that means. No problem. So she pulls out her phone and she brings up some pictures to show him what it is, so he should know what she's talking about. Why would she ask him that? Okay, anyway. I'm guessing she wanted to find out so she would know if he would fit her preferences. I don't know. That's my guess. Anyway, he didn't wind up answering because he was literally saved by the bell. The bell rang, the school bell, and it was time to go, move it on, so he left. Now moving a little bit forward to March 21st, 2018. The boy's parents, his father and his stepmother, they noticed he had been acting a little bit weird. I mean, nothing too radical, but he wanted to close his door, and, they didn't know what he was doing in there, that kind of thing. So they got this app that they put on his phone, and then they attach it to their phone. He didn't know about it, Now this app would track his communications to see if certain keywords were appearing, and they would input the keywords that they were looking for, I guess. So this stepmother, on March 21st, she was alerted that the word baby was coming up a lot. were looking for, when they said, let's, get this app. They were not expecting that this was going to be the outcome. 13-year-old boy, 27-year-old beautiful teacher, what? And they were not amused, this was not something that they wanted to hear. So now he had erased pretty much all of the communications he had with her. So they wanted to catch her in the act. So the father typed up a text to send to Brittany to, get her to say some things that they could use against her when they would go speak to the police. So this is what they wrote. So, the father writes, thinking about your sexy self. So that's supposed to be from the boy, okay? And she says, "Aw, baby, I wish you were with me." And then he says, "I want you, baby, when can blank blank again." She says, "I want you too, baby, so bad whenever we can, I'm down. Like, you for real get sexier to me every day, LOL." And then the father writes for the boy, "I want to blank so bad, baby, those times weren't enough for me." So now they knew they had her, and they reported it to the principal. And I guess the principal called Brittany, and she called the parents to talk to them. So she spoke on the phone, verbally spoke to the father, and this is how the conversation went. And by the way, the parents recorded the phone call. So the father says, "What type of pervert person are you? I want to know right now. You're a child molester. Do you understand me?" And she says, "Why do you say that?" And he says, "Oh, blank, see, I'm a lot smarter than you." So she says, "Can we meet, to talk about this so we can settle outside?" And the father says, "Oh yeah, that's what we can do, so I can give you a chance to do it to some other kid. That's exactly what we're gonna do. No. Make sure you tell your husband what's going on." So she says, "He is right here. Can he talk to you?" So the husband, Daniel, gets on the phone, and he says, "She's done so much, and she made a huge mistake. The biggest mistake anybody can make in the whole entire God preaches forgiveness." So the father responds, "Your wife decided to be a monster and prey on a child. She's scarred my son mentally. Do you understand what a 13-year-old boy did having sex with a teacher? Do you get that at all? Do me a favor, do not call this number back again. The next time you'll hear from me will be in court." So the next day, March 22nd, she was arrested, and she was charged with 9 counts of sexual misconduct with a minor, 2 counts of molestation of a child, and 1 count of obscene material transmitted to a minor. They were all felonies. And her bond was set at $250,000, which I don't believe she was able to raise, and I believe she stayed in prison until the court date. Now, for about a year, she continued to say that she did not do this, okay? So she denied it. But then I guess, her lawyer must have talked to her and said, "Hey, you're not gonna win this." So she accepted a plea. It was June 2019 when she pled guilty to sexual contact with a minor, attempted molestation, and public sexual indecency. So she was given 20 years in prison. It was stipulated that she could not get out early for good behavior, so she will be getting out at age 48 or 49, they said. And when she gets out, she will be on probation for 2 lifetimes, and she will have to register as a sex offender. Now, the family went ahead and sued the husband, Daniel Zamora, because they said that he knew all along and he had a duty to report it. But they settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. That one's kind of surprising. I didn't know that a husband of a suspect would have a duty to report, if he even did know. But anyway, they also sued the school because they said that the principal failed to act, and he had been told about this in February, and it had gone on for something like 43 days from the date that he was told until the date of the arrest, and he never reported anything. Now, I believe that case is still ongoing. I wasn't able to find if it had been resolved, but they're suing for a lot of money. Now, Brittany addressed the court at the time of sentencing, and she said, I want y'all to know that I'm not a monster. I'm a good, genuine person, and I made a terrible mistake, and she deeply regrets having made the mistake. And also, her mother got up to speak on her behalf, saying the same sort of thing, that she's a very good person, she's not a monster. Now, in 2020, Brittany divorced her husband. She had stated that their marriage was completely broken and it could never be fixed, basically, in a nutshell. And we can understand that. And also, she became certified to do tutoring in prison, and she has been tutoring the other inmates. So that is a good thing that has come of this. That is the only good thing, I suppose, that has come of this. And that is the case. What do you think? Well, I'm going to tell you a few of the things that I am thinking. First of all, there are a lot of similarities between this case and 2 of the other cases that I have done. So if you're interested, I will put the links. There is the Mary Kay Latorno case. That was a teacher who also had relations with her 13-year-old student. That one went a bit further in that she was pregnant, and I won't tell you the whole story, though. That's a whole story in and of itself, obviously. So there is a link right here that I did on my other channel, and it includes gum chewing, so be aware. Then right here on this channel, the case of Pamela Smart, link right here. In that case, she was a teacher, or she wasn't actually a teacher, I think, if I remember correctly, but she worked at the school in some capacity. People thought of her as a teacher, and her student was 15, but there was also murder in that case. So that's a little bit different, a lot different. Anyway, regarding this case, what do I think? Well, of course, I think it is absolutely horrific that this teacher would do such a thing. Of course, I can't understand why she would do it. What was the attraction? Why she would destroy her seemingly ideal life? Good job, good marriage. Maybe marriage wasn't that good, though. You know, just nice lifestyle. Now it's all gone. Okay. She lost her teaching certificate, obviously. Teaching license, whatever. And now she will forever be on the, sexual offender registry, which is a good thing, of course. But at it like that at all. And at the time, you could read a lot of comments from people saying, hey, get over it. This kid is lucky. She was so good looking too. She was super good looking. She was a hot teacher, so it's fine, Good for him. If I were 13, I would want to do that too. That kind of stuff. So those people are very wrong. It's very sick, especially that he was 13, If he were 17, it wouldn't have been good either. But it would be, I think, not quite as damaging. But what are most 13-year-old boys actually even doing? They're just entering their teenage years, and they're still doing little kid stuff, To some extent, they're transitioning from being a little kid into being a teenager, and that is not the time for this. It is never the time for this, but, I often get tongue-tied and don't know exactly what to say when I get to this part of the video. I have so many thoughts, and I just want to get it out in a way that makes sense. So sometimes I say weird things. I apologize. So anyway, I hope he is doing fine, or doing well. I hope he got whatever therapy he needed, and I'm glad that he has been kept anonymous. Although, obviously the people living over there knew who he was perfectly well. Now, I did read that they moved. They had to move, go to a different school. And I hope all of that worked out for them. As far as suing people, a lot of people say, hey, they just wanted money, and what good is money gonna do? It's not gonna make this go away. And, victims will often say, or the victim's family will say, well, it will make a statement, It will make a statement so that other people will not allow this to happen in the future. So, the husband, I don't know how he is at fault here. I really, I don't get it. I believe that it was said he tried to help her after the story was out. Once she was accused of this, he was trying to tell her what to do about it. But that doesn't mean he knew it was happening when it was happening. Unless I'm missing something, but I don't see that as a thing. I cannot imagine that a husband would look the other way with this kind of thing. Why would he? So I don't know about that. I don't really, maybe I must be missing something, but I don't see why he's at fault. I mean, helping her after the fact, even if he knew what she had done, is not hurting anyone. It's just trying to help her the same way a lawyer would tell a guilty person, don't say this, don't say that, they're allowed to do that to help them with their case. The sexual act had already occurred. Now, as far as the principal, what do you all think about that? I definitely do not think that he thought anything was going on to the extent that it was, He, like I said before, he just thought she was being unprofessional. So, should he have called the parents of the boy? I mean, he didn't want to blow the thing up to a bigger proportion than it was. And he didn't think anything had happened, really. If you were the principal, would you call up the parents and be like, hey, people are gossiping about this and that, but it's not really true. I don't think it's true. Would you do that? Let me know. I mean, maybe you would. Maybe I'm thinking about it wrong, but he truly didn't believe anything was happening. So did he really need to call everyone and report it to the police? I don't know. this was truly a horrible thing to have happen to your child and to have happened to yourself if you were the victim as well. Horrible, horrible. Alright, so thank you very much